Yo, what's the word? This is City James coming from the West Side, Pomona, California to be exact. And this is a Sarah Harrison exclusive with 12 Days of Litmus.
Welcome to another episode of Sarah Harrison exclusive 12 Days of Litmus. We're having a Lady in the Trap Christmas, especially here. We are opening the doors to a new artist that has come on my radar, and he's making some amazing waves. Not only is he making dope music, it's dope messaging, dope visuals, it's literally the whole package. What's happening, City James? Where are you at right now?
Hey, what's going on? How you doing? I am in downtown Los Angeles at my spot, Basewood Studios. I appreciate you having me. It means a lot that you're sharing your platform.
Absolutely. So, you've got the name City in your name. Which city are you representing?
I'm from Pomona, California. It's about 30 minutes outside of LA. I also represent the Inland Empire, which is another region. Like LA County is just a different county in Southern California.
Wow, I have to say I'm not familiar, so I feel like I have to touch down when I next come through.
Yeah, you gotta come. I'll take you to the chicken spot. It's called Donahue's. You can get some chicken. You can get some boba. I'll take you down Holt, down Foothill. It'll be a good time.
It's always good vibes in LA, so I don't have any doubts that I'll be in good hands. I have to say, my friend Zay, introduced me to you, to your music and to your art, and it is literally that. It's art, it's pure, it's from the heart, and I've really enjoyed seeing everything that you've put out so far. So, this is an introduction to you, so let's take it back, right back to the beginning. You said you grew up in California. What was that like?
um, I feel like if you know the Southern California story, then it's kind of like it fits into every puzzle. But my thing is, I'm West Indian born. I'm first generation out this way. So that brings like a little bit more character to it. My dad is from Guyana, South America, and we came over this way. Um, Humble beginnings, but my both of my parents work hard, and so I got my hustle spirit from them. Games, um, but family and art have always been like the thing that was constantly circling through my world. And art is the thing that kind of took a hold of me the most. But at the same time, I had a kid very young. I had a kid when I was 15. And so those have been the two things that I've been grappling with since then. And my daughter is 11 now. So yeah, it's just you kind of like how everybody deals with in LA or just in Southern California. You deal with gang culture, but you also have art. You also have just like a vast melting pot of different ethnicities. So I've been around a lot. I've seen a lot, and I want to talk about a lot. And so my art is the way that I express myself.
So, what's the West Indian community like in California?
Hey, so it's spread out. I'm not gonna hold you. It's spread out, but it's strong in in that same regard. So every every year around April time, I believe we have like a kite flying celebration. So everybody from Guyana pulls up to this park, and they're flying the kites and stuff like that. You know, I still listen to soca music heavy. We have first Sundays where after it's tradition where after you get married, you're supposed to have a party on the first Sunday. So it's still cool. We have LA doesn't have like the biggest carnival at all, but we go to Hollywood Boulevard and we try to get our party on just a little bit. It's nothing like what y'all got going on over there, but yeah, I'm still very proud to be West Indian. Guyanese through and through. I love my curry, my roti. Like that's how I grew up.
You are truly like rap in its truest form, right? And I'm just interested then to start seeing those influences of the Caribbean rhythms, and I think that will start I think that'll give you like such a cool edge to your music. I think that would be really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always wanted to start tapping into that type of stuff. My first introduction, even to things that were more rhythmic, is me stepping into more of a house realm. Um,
Yes.
I just really love house music, and so
Yeah.
my first steps in going into anything rhythmic is house, and
And
so
we're
I
we're talking about the track. Was it 909? Was it that one? No, PTSD. That's it. Yeah.
yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. So I just dropped a project called More of the Same, dealing with everything that was going on in, the US, which was going crazy at the height of COVID and the height of like this new civil rights movement. And I felt like there wasn't anybody talking, especially myself. After I had finished my whole project, I realized that I didn't make any song dedicated to the Black woman and the plight that they're going through during this time. And then I decided to write one, and I wanted it to have movement. I wanted it to feel like everybody could dance to it, and I wanted to shed light to not only Black women but also Black trans women. And so I felt like house music was going to be the best way to represent, everybody involved and be as inclusive as possible.
Yes, because I was going to ask you that. More of the Same was a project that came out around the time following George Floyd's demise, right? Well, murder. Um, and I wondered whether it was a project solely made as a reaction to that, or whether you had already positioned some tracks and had those tracks ready for a while.
The first song that I made, The Ends, was the night that George Floyd died. And then I just started to write a song after every death that then happened thereafter. And then
Oh
that was
wow.
the culmination of the project. I didn't know that it didn't turn into a project until I realized that I had that many songs, because there was that many deaths that had happened. And there was even more that did happen, but like, then I would have had just a full length album, and I just wanted to make sure that I hit every point that I wanted to, and that it was short and sweet and digestible, but still very complex in its content. And so after every death that happened, after every murder that happened, I had wrote a song, and then that was this.
I see a lot of influence from jazz music, and your instrumentation and the production is crazy, and I think it goes with your storytelling and also with your eye for visuals. I think like now it makes sense that there was a whole narrative behind it that was linked to real life. It was quite sometimes a lot of your beats would switch up, and quite surprisingly, and I guess that's metaphoric of how these happenings have just hit us all in 1 year, and I think that's what your project represented, like the tumultuousness of it.
Yeah, this wasn't a project. It was very experimental for me in terms of not having the traditional 2, 3 verses and then the hook or a bridge. It was, yeah, I'm gonna have this plan and I'm gonna go off for however long, and then I'm gonna switch it up, because you in these moments we just feel so much stuff that's going on, and so I wanted that to be represented in the music. Also, I'm a storyteller at first. I've only been making music for the last 4 years, but I'm an art kid through and through. I started with poetry. Poetry is what actually got me to go to London a couple times that I did, because I worked with the Royal Shakespeare Company.
No
Um,
way.
yeah, yeah.
From an acting perspective.
From a written perspective, the Royal Shakespeare Company um, brought me out there. They commissioned me out there to do modern linguistics for some of King Lear's speech.
Wow. So what did that manifest into? Where can we? Is it something that's accessible to the public?
I believe that, yeah, the Royal Shakespeare Company should have. I believe it was filmed, so they should have whatever was there. I don't have any access to it, of course, but it was done at the Tate Modern. So I went to the Royal Shakespeare Company, um, and then from there we had a couple workshops. got to know them and how they go about things and stuff like that. And then from there, I was able to write my own thing that was inspired by King Lear's speech. And then they wanted it to be done in modern linguistics. And so I put it in my own words, and then I freaked it at the Tape Modern. So like, but me saying all that to say, like, I was a writer first, but also an actor. Like, I graduated school for acting. I'm just like a real, like, I'm an art kid, and through and through. I went to art high school, went to an art college. So me expressing myself has always been what I wanted to do. Music has just came in within the last 4 years of this, and so I guess that's another reason as to why like the music switches and all that different type of stuff, because you'll have like the height of a scene and then it'll cut to something else because that's just what the narrative calls for.
This makes complete sense. Yeah, it's got a theatrical aspect to it, a dramatic aspect to it, like the highs, the lows, the dynamics, and your filmmaking ability as well that ties everything together. You literally are connecting the dots. So did you ever dance as well?
Yeah, I did dance. I don't like to tell nobody that I dance just because then they'll be like, "Well, break something out." But my first study that like I was training in was under dancing, and then uh, but then I took a poetry class, and I just really loved how words felt and how I was able to bend them and move them. And so quickly from there, I transitioned out of that, and so I left dance maybe like around uh, year 11, and then pursued writing and acting full time from there.
So could you see yourself getting into the acting bag properly, as following it as a career path?
Yeah, that's the ultimate goal. I'm not gonna hold you. Like, music has been the vehicle for me, but I do know that eventually I want to then transition into acting because that's just my first love. I'm not. It's that is where you are able to combine everything in one, and that's the reason why my visuals have been very storytelling, because I was getting auditions. I was getting auditions, and they was like trying to get me to do, like, I don't know, sell like kibbles and bits and shit like that. And I was like, this is not me. I'm still where I'm from. I like to make art. And so you're not about to play me like I'm some just like
I hear
chipper
you.
kind of thing without substance. I need substance. And that's the reason why I went into music and then decided to then do my own visuals. So I was like, this is how you're gonna see me, as opposed to anything else. I didn't want to get pigeonholed into any kind of, I don't know, Nickelodeon or Disney Channel type of role if it didn't fuel me.
It's interesting because a lot of, you're jumping into another character's role, so which I think is similar to music, but sometimes it's not. It's the opposite. A lot of musicians want to paint the picture of their own life and they want to depict their own story. But I think some of the best artists are those that are able to tell the stories of the people around them. I think that's where the real talent comes in, right? Do you find yourself putting yourself in other people's shoes then when you make your music, even being a video director?
So yeah, I believe that it's with music and just with writing in general with poetry, it's the blending of both, of how to tell your perspective on certain things while embodying somebody else and while depicting another story. So I might be able to tell a story about my brother who is heavily into gang culture and who will live and die by that. I might be able to tell his story, but how I feel about his story. And then within that, interject certain lines that he would say to me within a song. And so really create a dialogue and a back and forth and a push and pull. But I think, especially with rap music, you still have to keep things reality driven and personal to you. Otherwise, um, you kind of fall short because people can depict and really pick apart whether you being real, you know? So everything that I talk about is stuff that I've seen. Everything that I talk about is stuff that I've actually done. You know what I mean? Like, and even then, that's kind of been just the battle since I was a kid of wanting to pursue this craft and wanting to express myself, but being in certain environments or being just Black in America where you aren't able to do that. You're told you can't express yourself. You're told like that's that's weak. And even like just to even get to school, I had to go through about 3 different gangs just to get through school. So I'm fighting my way to get to school. And so these are the things that I'm seeing and speaking about and writing about because of how it affected me. And I think that it very much has been like the underbelly for all the things that I'm dealing with right now, because I have to dig all of that up, unearth all the things of why do I handle a situation this way, or why do I do things this way? Um, why am I quick to throw my fist as opposed to try to talk? You know.
Well, let's get back to your musical journey then. What is it like? what? No, but what is it like being on this vehicle? Because you did say that this is somewhat of a vehicle for you to explore all your other talents and start, showing them to the public. But yeah, like, what's this vehicle been like, and when did you get on it? What year was it?
Yeah, so it was 2016. I dropped my first project. It was called Ferrari, playing off of the word fear and the luxury car Ferrari. And so that was my first project. That was in 2016. And then now, my latest project is called More of the Same. I'm also working on my next project that's called Time Waits for No Man. It's been a while. It's been a wild ride just because I had to really kind of retrain myself how to write because it's different from poetry. But I was so inspired by people like Tupac, where it's like, oh man, this man was a poet, he was a dancer, he was an actor, and he got it out the mud this way and this way and this way. And so I felt like that was kind of like the trajectory that I had for myself. No, of course, nobody can ever take Tupac's throne from him, but just in saying that's the path that I would like to lead myself on. And yeah, it's been dope. I'm writing constantly, and I'm viewing the world through a different lens because I'm doing it from a writer's pen. And yeah, I love it. There's nothing else that is more instantly gratifying than hearing something and then being able to play it back for somebody and them seeing they bob their head or get a reaction out of them that is like, oh yeah, this is dope.
It is very unconventional though, as you said, like the way you structure your music is not your traditional hook, like radio hits. This is like a 3-minute song and, just ticking all of those conventional boxes. Um, how does you even have a song called Untitled? Uh,
Yeah.
how how do you feel navigating in a recording industry, right? It is an industry at the end of the day. It's a business, so it's it functions on formula. It functions on repetition. It functions on copying. So how do you feel like you're gonna make an impact?
I think that I'm going to continue to make moments that are undeniable. I think that anytime that I've ever performed, that I've been able to win the crowd over. I think that my visuals will take me far, and I feel like as I continue to learn and grow with this whole music thing, that I'm gonna be able to start putting phrases or ideas or concepts in your head that you're just not gonna be able to get rid of. I take critique very well. You know what I mean? You just have to. Uh, and like I said, I understand the nature of it, but I also understand that I haven't seen somebody that is like me in quite some time. And so it's kind of like, let's see who's right type of thing. Um,
You say that, don't you? In is it? And if I can't remember, but you say, "Give me a year from now, we'll
that
see
was
where we're
Untitled.
at." Yeah, in
Untitled, yeah.
Untitled.
And
Yeah.
what's crazy is we'll be in a year. I think 2 or 3 months from now, it'll be a year from that, and just even the everything that has happened up until then has just been night and day from where I was last year. You know, I was essentially a maid cleaning apartments. I was washing cars and stuff like that, doing whatever I could to uh, provide for my kid. And now it's been full time making art. It's been shooting visuals. It's been making music of the times. And you know, it's now led me to be across from you when you were across the waters in London, talking to you about what I got going on. So I feel like God and the people around me, like Zay, um, are pushing me to where I need to go for sure.
Protecting your daughter, then, how do you balance that life with your career?
Hey, she protect me. She protect me. There's been many times where like I'm so willing to just throw the whole world down, but then I see her and she be like, "All right, calm down," and then it's like, "All right, cool." So it's really this kind of Beauty and the Beast type of thing where I'm just so I'm an empath and I feel everything that is going on just from the world at large, but then the people around me, but then myself and then my daughter and stuff like that. And again, like I said, I'm still trying to learn how to sift through those emotions, but she's the one that's like chopping it up with me. It's okay, like, you know, we're good. She'll make me food and like we'll watch a show and we'll be chill after that. And so she's taught me everything for real. And within this, which has kind of been dope, is I've been able to bring her around all of my folks, all of the people that is creating art, all the people that's doing dope shit. Where when I was a kid, yeah, I was around dope people for sure, like my uncles and my aunties, but they weren't pursuing their dreams, and so I never saw what that looked like. And so now she's seeing people that are only doing that. So she's like a job, a 9 to 5, like what is that? What does that look like?
It's not
You know, she's like,
happening.
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be a fashion designer. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Like it's been cool for sure.
She can be a part of your team. You can put her on payroll. That's it.
We had just got this studio. I had just got this studio, and I've always wanted this spot. It used to be my friend's space, and he passed away, and then I took it over, and so we're building all of it up. And then she comes and she sees it, and she was like, "Oh, so this is gonna be my spot when." And I'm like, she, you know, she already got it. So,
Love that.
yeah, she's of course a part of the team for sure.
Yeah. When did you know that you were gifted with visuals?
So shout out to my man Darren Bush, who is like the other half of this Made by James directing duo that I'm a part of. Um, he has let me take the wheel on a lot of different things, and I've let him, you know, do vice versa. Uh, but my man's is uh, it's crazy that everything's so racial, but my man is a white man from Idaho, which is like something that's completely different from the inner cities of Southern California. And so when we were shooting certain things, they just weren't being relayed the way that I would see
Got
them.
it.
And
Mm-hmm.
so I'll be like, we have to like do certain things like this just so we can like, so this can be more realistic to what it would be. He's like, because he would make it look beautiful, but it didn't look real. And so there
Wow.
has to be a way that there has to be a way to blend the two, because this like life ain't this pretty or whatnot, but life don't have to be as ugly as I'm viewing it. And so that's where the marriage has came, and we were able to blend both of our styles together. But yeah, it was me and him doing a video a week every week, just trying to see different ways that we can showcase my craft, but doing so without having any money. You know, he was working at Starbucks, and I was washing cars, and we would do a video a week. So it's like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna be hanging out the back of his Prius truck or his Prius car, and he's gonna be filming me, and so it's gonna look like we're floating. But you know, certain things like that where we just tried different things, but it was just me and him banging our heads against the wall to figure out how we can make our own voice in this visual realm.
Well, a James film is coming to theaters near you.
Oh no, that's a fact. That's a fact. And like I said, I'm going to be coming to London sooner than soon for that very reason.
And your latest, your latest efforts in that department with Blxst. I know you guys have a really good synergy, working synergy together. Yeah, when did that start, and how did you decide to take it further?
I met Blxst in 2006. We went to school together for a short period of time, and then we reconnected at a studio. We just ran into each other, and I was like, "Yo, what's good?" He was like, "Yo, what's good?" And from there we clicked back up, and then a couple years after that, I wanted to shoot on film. Darren wanted to shoot on film, and so I reached out to him and I said, "Yo, we have this opportunity to shoot on film. Do you want to do anything?" And so he had this song. It was called "Must Be Love." Me and him did that song with another artist called Vintage. Um, and from there, we shot this beautiful film, and he really liked how we did that. And so when he had got signed to Red Bull Records, uh, he kind of swung the rope around and was like, "Yo, come up with me." And so shout out to Blxst. I appreciate him for seeing me for who I am. And yeah, now we've been 5 videos deep, and I think that it's gonna be a relationship that keeps on going. But regardless, like he's done more than enough at this point.
Yeah, I like that because a lot of people have that crabs in a barrel mentality when they start to progress, and people around them that are just as talented or can offer just as much to that person's career get left behind. So it's great. Yeah, it's great to see that with you and Blxst.
Yeah, no, yeah, he and especially like congratulations to him. He's going crazy right now, and so even me just being uh playing it back, I think that's like another role, like that's like another lesson that I've been learning right now. It's like play your role. You know, it's not my time right now, but that don't mean that it's not gonna come. But if I could play my role and just be in position for that to happen, then then I'll be ready when it does. So until then, I'm gonna play my role, keep on doing what I need to do in the back, and then when it's my time to shine, it will be.
The next one is City James, more of the same.
Huh. Listen, the
I,
especially the one that we about to do, Time Waits for No Man. I'm excited. I'm excited for that one. And what's crazy is I plan out everything so strategically. Like the next project after that one is called It Can Happen, and then the next one after that is called For Mia. And I know what those projects sound like as well. And so I'm
wow.
I'm really ready for like the next 3 projects for people to see what we got going on.
Yeah, listen, everyone listening, I really do encourage you. I do not want this project to go under the radar, especially because you are essentially an underground artist. This is not a big time release, so it's such a danger to go under the radar. But this is exactly why we have you here today. So yeah, I'm so happy to have spoken about you, and we dived into so much deep topics, and I'm happy that I found out some the Shakespeare stuff like really took me by surprise, but it really all makes sense. It all ties into what you're doing and your purpose for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. Shout out to my man Willie Shakes, Big Bill. Yeah, that's my dog, William Shakespeare. I rock with him.
I really enjoyed Shakespeare when I studied it. Like it teaches you a lot.
A genius. He's a genius. That's just what it is. So yeah, no, I
Absolutely.
appreciate you for having me. It means a lot. London is, like I said, I've pulled so much inspiration from London. I've been there twice. I loved it when I was there. I can't wait to go back. Like it really the culture over there drives a lot of what I do. And I have a lot of friends
Right.
over there that can attest to that, because I'm always like, "Yo, how y'all do this? Like, what's going on?" You know what I mean? Like, shout
Wow.
out to Jay Warner, shout out to Thea Gaich. Like, those are like my family out that way. And yeah, I just appreciate you.
I don't know if this is off the record, but I know you've had conversations with TDE. That's it. Are we gonna leave it at yes?
Yeah, I think a lot of good things are gonna be happening pretty soon, hopefully.
I love that. I'm a great believer in like don't say too much.
Yeah.
Which is ironic because I'm like a media platform, but hey.
Say what needs to be said. But yeah, shout out to the good people at TD. That was a blessing for sure.
Yeah, we don't want to mess with divine intervention, right?
Yeah, please don't.
I don't have that power. No way. Well, City James, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.